welcome back to the channel. This is a little bit of motivational psychology, and sorry in advance that it's going to be a little bumpy. I'm driving to work, so please bear with me for the audio and bumpiness. But I wanted to make this video for psychology, motivation, that you can do it if you put in the work kind of video. And I wanted to start off with how badly do you want this, right? This doesn't necessarily have to be with trading. It could be with anything that you're passionate in life. It could be aspiring to be a professional athlete, or being the highest tier in like your job, anything, right? You want to be the best version of yourself and commit to the things that you're pursuing. And what I mean by this is you don't really want to let yourself down. You want to push and push and push and prove to yourself that you can do it. Because the only person holding yourself accountable is yourself, right? You want to prove to yourself that you can do it and that you are truly successful. And I want to tie this back into trading, because that is one of my passions. I'm trying to be a big successful trader and ultimately become profitable enough to where that can be my full-time career. And so, on top of all that, why do I want to be a full-time trader, have that be my career, and all that? Well, for me, it's very important that I continue down this path of becoming a full-time trader, because some of the values in my life are, time freedom, being my own boss, having some of that time back to spend with my family and friends, traveling, all of this stuff. And so, on top of all this, if I'm able to make money on my own time, then I can choose where I want to go, when I want to go, and I don't have so much of a restriction on being at a job all day long, 5 days a week. And so it really frees up my life, given that I just put in the time and put in the effort and learn this skill. And so I'm making this video on the way to work right now, because today it's Saturday. I think it's February 21st, 2026. I'm leaving to go to work on a Saturday, which is, it's fine, it's whatever. But I really wish I didn't have to. It's 9:15 a.m. I wish I could have slept in a little bit more, enjoyed my breakfast, enjoyed the time with my family. And as I'm leaving to go to work, my brother and sister-in-law are passing me to go hang out at the house. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of frustrating that I don't get to be there and I have to go to work all day long. And by the time I get home, I'm going to be not only exhausted from work, but they've already done their thing by having breakfast with each other, and they're all also going to be exhausted or busy or doing their own thing with their friends. And so it's kind of like a balance between where's your freedom, where are you able to balance your own schedule while also making your own money on your own time. And we also want to be able to choose when is our own time, because when we can work for ourselves and make money on our own time, we can choose when our weekends are or when our time off is. And so that's a really important thing for me. And also being able to make money or work from wherever you want is also really important, because say we're having breakfast on a Tuesday morning. I could be working while the family's over and not have to drive to go to work, or vice versa. I could go over to their house and still be working and not lose these 7 hours in a day. And even on top of all that, we could go on a surf trip and I could still be working and still be hanging out with my brother and sister-in-law and mom and dad and still be working. So that's why I'm truly passionate about trading, is it opens up a lot more doors when it comes to, time freedom, money management, and all that stuff I've previously just said. So tying this back into the psychology side of it and how we can become the most successful person that we want to be, we have to truly hold ourselves accountable for our actions and strive for success. We want to be happy and positive and see other people's achievements and success as how do we achieve that, right? We don't want to see people with fancy cars and like nice things as, oh well they just got lucky, or maybe their parents bought it, or see how negative that sounds. You want to be like, well, good for them, like maybe I can learn from them, or I wonder how they did it, or I'm really curious, or it's more positive and it's an inspiring thought to have. There was a time, I think it was around a year ago, where I would actually just ask people out on the streets, out on the sidewalk, in a coffee shop, if I thought they were wealthy or well off or in a good spot in their life. I would ask them, hey, what did you do to achieve this nice car? What did you do to become successful? And they would tell me. I would do this at my job. I work at Trader Joe's, if you can't tell. I would be working outside sometimes, and I would see people pull up in really nice cars. And I would ask them, hey, how did you achieve such a nice car? And they would tell me their career, how they did it, and they would give me their business card. And I wouldn't necessarily pursue that, but I would take that information in as the next step of, okay, this is a really good idea, it's a good path, maybe I'll just keep on asking people to kind of gather all of this information. I had this idea of kind of going door to door, because in my past I've done door-to-door sales, solar sales, so I'm pretty used to knocking on people's doors and getting rejected, so it's not really a big deal for me. But going door to door and kind of asking people, hey, how were you able to afford this house? Did you buy it? Are you renting? I'm just curious. What was your career path? I'm an inspiring entrepreneur. I want to know how I can build my wealth to afford such an accomplishment like this, if you want to share. So I've been kicking that one around. Again, like I said, I don't really care about the denial or the rejection. If one person rejects me, I'll just move on to the next house. And yeah. So, but yeah, back to the mental part of becoming successful. We have to remind ourselves every day that if you're staying consistent and doing the things you're supposed to do every day, like studying, putting in the work, sometimes watching motivational videos to remind yourselves that you're doing the right thing, taking notes, putting in the work every day, that you're on the right path. Not everyone learns at the same pace, at the same speed, or becomes successful right away. But eventually, you'll get there. It's not a matter of, like, when, but, I mean, it is a matter of when, but the key thing here is to not compare yourself to someone else's success, because people learn at different paces, people become successful at different times. So it's a little tricky nowadays because there's so much social media that can persuade you to thinking you need to become, oh, this big millionaire by like next week, and the results are so skewed. You need to have all these fancy cars and fancy houses and all this money by like 22. But some people get lucky. Some people are good at social media, brand advertising. Some people do things a little bit differently, and like I said earlier, that's awesome for them. I am so glad that it works for you, but I'm gonna stay focused in my lane and try to do what's best for me, because if I'm focused on someone else's life, how is that any good for mine? I want to do what's good for me. I want to stay focused on my lane and focus on my own mental path, focus on my emotional control, not sway too hard happy, not sway too hard sad, just stay level-headed, and I feel like that's a good balance for success. So that was basically all I wanted to go over in this video. So little recap in this entire video is be passionate in the career path you have. It doesn't matter what it is. Strive for the best, not only for yourself, but for your family, for your time freedom. And on top of all of that, there's a reward of, money and your future self. Do it for your future self. Next thing is focus on your psyche, your emotional stability, and prove to yourself that you can do it. The one person that's betting on you to be successful is you. No one's holding you accountable. This is your life, so get out there and do it, right? No one's gonna hold your hand along the way. Sure, some of us might have a little financial support from our families and friends, but the reality of all this is they're not gonna be there forever. And so it's great while they're around, and that's why I'm saying I would like to have more time freed up to spend it with my family and friends and whoever else. But it comes a time where we've got to, buckle up and start doing it the hard way, start doing it for ourselves. And so, lastly, we have to remind ourselves every day that we are successful, we can do this. If someone else out there can do it, so can you. We are all the same. No one is different. We just learn at different paces, we learn at different speeds. But the key takeaway here is if someone else can do it, why can't you? Yes, social media has skewed the outlook on what success is and at what time frame you should become successful, but don't let that get to your head. Again, like I just said, there's no specific age at which you're supposed to become successful. So let that sink in a little bit and remind yourself that you are successful. Just keep on going. Don't give up. The second you give up, you've quit, and we don't like to quit. We want to keep on going and going and going. If you need to take a break, that's fine. Just don't give up. And with that said, I'm going to end the video here. So, catch you on the next one. And with that being said, peace out.